Alright, we back on gaming. Let me just say this right now. It's been a weird morning because if you've been watching Twitter and all the debate that's been going on and watching people get all upset, even though we knew stuff was going to happen, we knew it, we talked about it before, and it seems like people haven't caught on. So it was so predictable to see what was going to happen. I want to say that this week is all about gaming. That's right. Not really politics, no gender identity, none of that old bullshit. That's right, no SJW news really to report. Even though I do have some news that may hurt them in the fields. That's right. But as usual, we have to address the usual suspects. And I don't mean this on Twitter or any SJWs. I'm talking about issues in our community, usual suspect-wise. That's right. So let's get started with the news. And I have to say this now. I'm going to start with a heavy hand today because of what's been reported. Okay, so let's get started. Woman has been sentenced to 40 years in the murder of a gamer over PS4. Yeah, let's start with that, okay? So, remember, for those who don't remember this story, remember, a gamer wanted to sell his PS4. He put it on Craigslist, and he met up with this woman and her boyfriend, and they shot him dead over the PS4. Mind you, their child was in the back, the back seat of their car while they were shooting this guy and killing him. Yeah, that's right, and kill him over a PS4, over a shiny plastic fucking box, over a fucking video game system. Now, here's the thing. 40 years. This girl's 18 years old, okay? And she got sentenced for 40 years. I don't think that's enough. I don't think it's enough. No. Because we don't know anything that's going to be any parole or good behavior or anything. I still don't feel it's enough. Now, I will say this, and I usually don't say this, very often. I don't. To this woman, if you have to call her a woman now because she's being tried, she's 18 years old, she knows better. You stupid fucking cunt. How does it feel to know now that there's a new PS4 coming out and that the one you killed someone over, the one that you took a life over, is about to be outdated? How does that fucking feel, you stupid bitch? Know what? Can we just move on? Can we move on? Yeah, I just need to get out of my system because you gotta be fucking kidding me that you're taking a life over a fucking video game system. Seriously. Priorities. Try some. Oh, wait. You don't have any priorities. You're so fucking stupid that you went through with this, and now where did it land you? Over an outdated system. Well, I should say, in the future. Very soon. Soon. Outdated system. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute as well. But, like I said, I have some news that's probably going to hurt SJWs in the fields. Yeah, in the fields, yeah. Miyamoto has seemingly shut down hopes of a female lead mainline Zelda game. Oh, right in the fields. So can we please stop this? Link should be a woman. Link is a woman. I mean, seriously, we just saw Chris Cluey come out of nowhere. Chris Clueless come out of nowhere. What do you mean Zelda's not a woman? Zelda's a woman. Not gaming, fuck. I swear, these people, I don't understand. I really don't. But more news, and this is not even SJW related, but this is Salt related. This really is. This is right in the fields. For those who don't know, we need to talk about Overwatch, okay? Talented young Overwatch player accused of cheating, that's right, because she beat Korean pros. That's right, it got to the point where two of the players said, if this girl is legit, they're talking about quitting. You want to talk about just hurt, just feels everywhere, and the thing is, she had to prove that she was legit. And guess what? She went and proved that she was legit. I will put the link in the info bar where you can see the videos. All she did was destroy them. It's amazing. So everyone who vowed to quit. Yeah. That's how salty you are right now, because she beat you. Once again, it goes to show that everyone who says pros, and granted, this is not, the standard, but this immaturity has to go. It has to. You have to be kidding me. If a player, doesn't matter if it's a girl or guy, it doesn't. Look, if a player's got skills, they got skills. It's that simple. All right? Get good. Don't quit. If she's legit, I'm just going to stop playing the game altogether. You big pussy. You big fucking, oh my God. Let's keep going, shall we? I said I'd talk about the PS4, and I guess I'd talk about the Xbox One as well. So, for those who don't know, the more powerful PS4 and Xbox One consoles are being praised by EA, Ubisoft, and Take-Two. I'm trying to figure why. You're praising these systems, and once again, the developers, they keep asking for this stuff, bigger, stronger consoles so they can make their stuff on, but you didn't even harness the power of the old PS3. You didn't max it out. And I'm trying to hear you did. You didn't max out the original PS4 and Xbox One. And you're not taking advantage of that. So what makes you think that you need a bigger, stronger, more powerful system that you're not going to take advantage of and max that out either? Huh? I'm just wondering. You can praise it all you want, but you're not going to use it to its full potential. So what's the point? Not more. The Witcher 3 developer praises the NX. Once again, no one pretty much even used the Wii U. But yet they want to praise the NX. I don't know. But there's more. There's more to this. Because everybody wants to talk about Sony these days, and this is pretty fucking pathetic if you ask me. Alright? Sony bans a guy from PSN, check this out, because his real name is Jihad. That's right. So, his PSN gets banned. And he contacts Sony about this issue and saying, look, that's my real name. I'm not trying to offend anyone. It's my real name, and it means something other than what you feel as though it does. You know, terrorists and everything of that nature. But this is exactly what Sony sent back to him. That's right, in response. This is disgusting, Sony. Absolutely uncalled for. For those who can't see that, on the screen, I don't know how big it's going to be. Let me read this, alright? It says, as stated in our previous email, we have to consider the network as a whole, and we need to take everyone's feelings into account. That's right. I can appreciate that your name has many meanings, okay? But it has one meaning that a lot of users find offensive, and therefore, when a report was submitted, the decision to ban your account was taken. So, because the general public thinks that the word jihad is offensive or, goes against something, that's who you're going to take the word of. Not the guy who says, the word has many meanings, that's my real name, and you've banned me unjustly. But you're going to go with, well, it has one meaning, that America, let's be honest here, that America, that has pushed it to the point where that's exactly what it means, and it can mean no other thing. So if it's offensive, then you ban him. Sony, this is not the first time this has happened, and it sure is only going to be the last time for you. I put it like this, and here's the thing. We've seen this with other developers as well, when I say it's not the first time it's happened, because they have mixed up names. We've seen this. And developers have come back out and apologized. Remember, they had a system where it was automatically detecting names, and because that name happened, popped up, automatically banned. Remember, and then they had to apologize for it. So, do you want to call this racism? Do you want to call it some type of prejudice? I mean, I put it like this: even your excuse for doing it is not right. It's not. If this is this guy's real name, you cannot hold him to anything and say, okay, we're going to ban you. You can't do that. That's absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's one thing if he did it purposely to piss people off, but then when he contacts you and lets you know why, that this is his real name, which you can just check his account, because he's got to pay for PSN and all that type of stuff. Are you going to tell me that you're still going to stick with, well, it means one thing in another country, or other countries, because that's pretty much what the news has told you. So it doesn't matter if it means anything else, right? That's disgusting. And that's what you stick with. You were just better off apologizing. You really were. I'm just saying, you were. But speaking of Sony, like I said, all these consoles and all, you'll need an expensive TV for that new PS4 and Xbox One 4K, and it was Ultra or whatever they want to call it. And for those who don't know, the low-end models of these 4K TVs or whatever, they're going to cost anywhere from $500 to $1,000. So if you want a higher end TV, it's going to run you about $2,000 or so. You know that, all right? Depending on size, and yeah, we know that. So buy a new system for about $350, and then you got to buy a new TV to harness the 4K that the developers aren't going to take advantage of anyway. Yeah, okay. We're going to keep moving on. Let's move on to the FGC. FGC, CEO. Let's talk about this. Alright, because it seems to be a big deal that what happened over at CEO. Now, of course, CEO, fighting game tournament is based off of wrestling. They have the ring set up and all that type of stuff, mostly for entertainment as opposed to entertainment on top of having your fighting games. I've always said before with CEO that I felt as though it's okay because they run with that theme. However, any other, tournament that doesn't do that should not have, guys acting a fool and stuff like that or trying to play the heel role. You know how that goes. So, apparently there was a problem over at CEO. Apparently a cosplayer who cosplayed as Cammy, and we've talked about this on Twitter, and it seems like a lot of people have a lot of opinions on this, cosplayed as Cammy, was told to cover up. That's right, because she was showing too much leg. That's right. So, this is what she had to say, the cosplayer herself, what she said about the issue when it came to having to cover up. And mind you, it's 95 degrees out there. Let me be the first to say this woman who's cosplaying as Cammy, if you haven't seen the other pictures of her, she looks amazing as Cammy. As far as I'm concerned, they should have let her stay that way, especially for how hot it is. I will also say that you're in Florida. Women walk around with less clothes on than that. But let's take this the right way, okay? Because apparently, when this happened, a lot of finger pointing, began, and he started blaming everybody. I mean, pretty much, there was a lot of blame to go around. So, let's talk about this. First off, we were finding out that somebody, that's in the hotel complained to hotel management about her and wanted her to cover up. Said it was indecent, okay? So, of course, that person was left anonymous. There's the problem right there. Because then that started an entire shitstorm of finger pointing and blaming. Now, I will say this. I'm going to put a link in the info bar from cosplaycrisis.com that covers this completely. The woman who wrote this article covered all of her bases on everybody that was being pointed to or being blamed for this issue. Okay? So, I think it's a great write-up. By all means, it's very interesting. I will say, when the hotel management tells CEO or tells her that she needs to, cover up, because CEO, they have to tell them as well, look, she's dressed indecent, she has to cover up. They have to comply. They have no choice, okay? Or they can get shut down. That's how it works, okay? Now, here's the thing. I see a lot of hate towards Jay Bailey because of this, all right? And you know what? I don't even think it's because of the fact that that she was that they told her to cover up. A lot of people went towards his Twitter and was like, "What's going on?" At first they were blaming him and saying, "How dare you tell her to cover up?" They didn't understand that hotel management had said this. So they just complied. But then a lot of people were just like, what's going on, Jay Bailey? He was overwhelmed, I'm going to say, with a lot of tweets pretty much blaming him. And instead of doing the right thing, and I'm going to say this, the most mature thing he could have done, because a lot of people kept asking and asking, he felt as though, and he said that he was going to begin to block everyone that had something to say about this, because he felt it was cyberbullying. That's what he claims, cyberbullying. Now, the smart thing about this would have been to release a statement on Twitter and pin it, so that anybody who had any more questions about this or just found out about it and wanted to ask him could see it right on his Twitter. Pin it, make a statement, pin it, leave it alone. That's what he could have done. But instead, he went on this mass blocking spree, which, if you ask me, was wrong. People who were even just simply asking were being blocked. That's what was happening. It wasn't people who were just, what the hell's wrong with you, blah, blah. It wasn't people like that. People were just saying, hey, what happened? Can you let us know what's going on? Oh, blocked. That's what was going on. He did not want to take any of it. I think he went a little overboard with the blocking as far as I'm concerned. But he did have to comply with hotel management. Now, we're seeing a lot of blame go to the Smash community on this one. Because, and in this write-up as well, this person says that there's a possibility it could have happened. They've blamed Tumblr. They blamed one SJW, SJWs for being there and getting triggered. They blame the Smash community because they're saying that the Smash community brings kids. And when you bring kids, they also have to bring their parents along. So their parents probably don't understand cosplay, and they felt it was indecent. So the Smash community taking a hit for it, okay? Not to mention, they talk about how the Smash community, how they don't have a like for women who wear a certain type of clothing. They feel as though it's indecent as well. Because in most Smash games, they're not clothed like that, you know what I mean? So, the Smash community was blamed. And then, the cosplayer was blamed. And like I said, in this write-up, it's a really good write-up. Talk about how it could be her fault because when she wore her Cammy outfit, she wasn't wearing the flesh-colored leggings that would protect her from telling people to cover her up. She was actually using her own legs. So, of course, that could be, where the indecent part comes out. When cosplayers are tasked with this issue, this obstacle. Usually they wear flesh-colored dancer tights, so you don't have to worry about that type of stuff. So no one can say anything. However, like I said before, in my opinion, she should have been allowed to wear the way she was wearing it. It's 95 degrees outside, people. All right, who the hell wants to wear sweatpants? So as you can see, there's enough blame, enough finger pointing that was happening to go around on this issue. I think the biggest problem of this was Jay Bailey banning everyone, I should say, because he didn't want to deal with it. Like I said, it would have just been easier to make a statement, pin it on your Twitter, and just let it be. And on your Facebook, and just let it be. I think that would have solved a lot of issues instead of wasting your time. Actually, you would have spent less time and less energy than going around mass blocking people every time you look at your feed and seeing all these people say something. Block, 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 block. Say something, pin it, and that's it. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You know what I mean? So, as you can see, there's a lot of blame to go around with this one. So, I feel as though everyone took a part in responsibility. Well, at least they should take a part in responsibility, even the cosplayer. But, like I said, at this point, what I'm seeing, I really don't want to blame her due to the fact that she should be allowed to wear that. I mean, it'd be one thing if she was... I mean, think about it. If she's going to, say, the pool that's in the hotel, and she's got a two-piece bikini on, are you going to tell me people are going to be triggered off of that? No. There was also times where people were saying, well, there's people cosplaying as Bayonetta there, and no one said anything then. So... it almost makes me feel as though this was something that was almost done out of spite and not really being triggered. But, once again, this is one of these situations where I feel everyone jumped the gun instead of cooler heads prevailing. And it could have been, easily rectified. But, hey, what can you do, right? It happened. Now, let's move on to the next part of CEO. Or should I say just the fighting game community in general. Because even though we're seeing that type of, I don't know if you want to call that drama or not. Once again, we talked about this last week, about Capcom, and how they were backtracking from Bud Light, right? They're going to let Bud Light back in because they have their Bud Light All-Stars. Well, since Capcom has let them back in, this is what Bud Light now is trying to do with the FGC. That's right, because, your top-tier players, this is how they're being treated now. Hey, Bud Light, thanks for sending the message to everyone that it's okay to be an asshole and treat people like shit, and you too can be rewarded. And before anybody says, oh no, this is about his skills, get the fuck out of here, okay? Because you and I both know, alright? If Filipino Champ decided to stop playing today, guess what? He would be replaced like that. And nobody care. The fact is, this isn't about skills anymore. We talked about this for how long? This is about keeping your profile up. That's all it's about. They're trying to become celebrities, all right? So, Bud Light, you want to give him a McLaren or drive him in a McLaren with a big star on it? First off, don't nobody know who the fuck he is if he's driving around with that shit. And I guarantee you, ain't no one going to remember that. Look, if you're not part of the FGC and you're seeing that on the street and you're just walking around, you're like, the fuck? You don't care? And seriously, let's be honest here. They didn't give him it. It's a rental. It's a rental, which means any of us can go and rent this shit and do that. All they did was put some fucking some vinyl on it, some decals. That's all they did. But you have to understand, this sends a bad message. That's what it does. And like I said, these people play video games. They're not being hailed as heroes coming home from war or doing open heart surgery, some shit. You play video games, dog. That's what you do. That's what you do. You hit buttons. You understand that, right? And like I said, I don't even like when athletes get this type of treatment, or actors get this type of treatment, let alone some motherfucker playing video games, and have a bad attitude over playing video games. Yeah. Alright. But let's move on to more bad CEO news. That's right. For those who don't know, once again, our favorite parasite, Markman. Apparently, he can't keep his security up, because a lot of shit was stolen, apparently, while he was there. Too many times now. Too many times. This guy has a history of shit getting stolen when it's with him. Have you noticed that? Okay, I put it like this. Because it seems like, once again, I said, people don't know how to manage things. They don't know what the hell they're doing. So, let's have this talk. As we know, because I guarantee you it's going to happen at EVO too. Somebody going to steal some shit. You should know by now to have somebody on standby, some type of security or whatever, to watch that stuff. And, I put it like this. You could do the most basic, and I mean this, the most basic of security. You don't just need to hire a security guard. You don't even need to do that. You know what you can do? If somebody wants to play the game or whatever, or they take it, from the booth and go to play the game, say if it's a distance away, you know what you can do? You can collect collateral. That's what you can do. It's that simple. At bars and clubs, guess what? If someone doesn't have the money to pay for their beer or whatever, they say, look, I got to go hit the ATM that's outside. You know what they do? They make them leave collateral, their driver's license, their ID, something of value. So if they don't come back, you got them. Okay? That's what you can do. It's real simple. If people are stealing controllers and fight sticks, and you know that shit is expensive, okay? Because it's you're going to have to write that off eventually if it's stolen, right? Okay. Then you take some collateral. You have a little safe deposit box, right? And you take their ID or something. So if they do walk off with something and they don't come back because they have to come back for their fucking ID, you know what? Then you got their name, you got their address, you got all that shit. All you have to do is report it. But no, you want to do shit ass backwards again. Like I said, if you're going to do this right, then do it fucking right. But instead, oh no, we're just going to do, like I said, the FGC in general, people who are running this stuff, I told you before, they have not covered all their bases. So once again, we have shit that's stolen. Like I said, at Evo, shit gonna get stolen as well. When you got people walking out, was it last time? They were walking out with couches? Yeah. You gotta be kidding me that people are still doing this shit. And granted, we all know that there's gonna be people there who try to steal shit. But you can try and limit that. You can take the right precautions to do something about that. But yet, you still play this fucking game. You have done this way too many times. It has happened on your watch way too many times. As far as I'm concerned, that's a fireable offense. If I'm a company and you're an employee and I've hired you to do something and you can't keep an eye on controllers and fight sticks and you have a history of this shit happening, get fired. Anyone else in the real world, as you know, if you don't do your job or something like this happens, you get fired, right? Okay, I can understand if it happened once, alright? But after that, no, you've got a history now. And once again, you have to put this out. You actually had to say this online, and you pretty much just showed how incompetent you really are. It's pathetic, man. It's pathetic. Shall we move on? Because for those who don't know, CEO, look, I understand that there were some people who were upset at Xavier Woods and Kenny Omega playing, but we knew this was coming a while because they've been talking about it on Twitter for a while. There's also others, like myself, who thought it was actually very entertaining because we knew it was going to happen. We knew that, like I said, CEO is based around wrestling. So, of course, wrestlers are going to wrestle. Wrestlers are going to talk. You're going to have some type of gimmick. I get it, all right? But if you notice, within this match, it doesn't even matter the match. Because people are saying, this is bad. Other people are saying, this is entertaining. Commentators had to try and talk it up more than what it really was. Let's be honest. That's what they had to do. But it's not just about that. Did you see how they reacted to each other? Did you see how they can sit and they can joke and they can play, but at the end of the day, they were good sports about stuff? I think that's the message that is missed here, all right? Good sportsmanship. And it's something that should be a good example for in the future for the FGC. But instead, you keep giving people, you keep giving people who act like assholes McLarens. Or should I say rented McLarens? Yeah, that's what you do. Fucking the game up. That's what you're doing, all right? But we're going to move on. We're going to talk about Street Fighter V because, for those that see, people are freaking out, fanboying over Street Fighter V because of the DLC that was coming out. Absolutely ridiculous because you got grown men acting like prepubescent children over DLC. It almost felt as though the person was paid. Was it Elijah? Or almost felt like he was paid to do it. You've got to be kidding me that people are freaking out. Because it's CEO, I guess in wrestling, I guess I could say marking out over DLC. You've got to be kidding me. But there's more. Street Fighter V's June update comes July 1st. So your June update comes out July 1st. Yeah, and it's promising, of course, DLC, and you can get in the matches faster. And I'm thinking to myself, getting the matches faster. It's now June, almost July, and you're just now trying to get people in the matches faster. Yeah. Your June update coming July 1st. Even your updates are late. Story mode, though, and Balrog, and Ibuki, and we're supposed to forget all about this. That's when people freak out. Now, here's the thing about this, because I have to talk about this. For those who don't know, Street Fighter V fans have threatened HK Smash if he shows up at EVO, simply because he did a reaction video with Balrog on because of what he saw, and apparently he compared TJ Combo to Balrog, and all of a sudden began getting threats. So is that what we do now? We threaten people if they're going to show up to Evo because they made a comparison to Balrog and TJ Combo. Let's be honest here, people, alright? Both of them are a takeoff of Mike Tyson, even though TJ Combo is more like Mike Tyson / Apollo Creed. Still, let's be honest here, alright? They're both a takeoff of Mike Tyson. What's the problem? What's the problem? And you're so upset over this. Mind you, this isn't the first time. Remember, I showed you the video before when people were being threatened over a review of Street Fighter V in general when it first came out, right? Now, we're seeing this again. I don't know what's going on where we have to see these threats, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Over what? Oh, well, Balrog reminds me of TJ Combo. Oh, no, you have to be beat up. You don't go to Evo or I'm going to kick your ass. That's absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? It's something that a lot of people can say, well, that's trolling. A lot of people can say that, all right? But let's just say it's real, all right? Let's just say it's taken seriously because he's taking it seriously, you know? This is something that has to stop. I don't understand where this is all of a sudden tolerable. But, of course, you're not going to hear this from the bigger guys. No, because it's not about them. They're not going to talk about this. It goes to show you that right now, the people that are in this community, they need to go. They need to go. You cannot threaten somebody for having a comparison between, look, you can sit and say, all right, that's your comparison. I feel it's wrong. I disagree. And you can talk about it. But to threaten a guy if he goes to Evo simply because he did that? The fuck? What's wrong with y'all? Seriously, this shit has gotten so out of hand. But like I said, when you keep giving people who act like a bunch of assholes, McLarens and all this other shit, guess what? You see that and you say, okay, acting like an asshole, pretty much, not a bad deal. You know what I mean? You're getting what you want. Yeah. And everyone else who feels though, oh, well, look at the behavior of FGC. You know what they labeled it as? They labeled it as? So, savage. Savage. We just know how to have a good time. Remember that? I don't know, man. At this point, it's ridiculous. It really is. But I do want to move on to better times. I do. Now, last week, a number of you in the comments said, you know what, Event? Since we were talking about games, fighting games being underrated, right? We talked about that and how we should shine some light on some of these, these either older games or games that fly under the radar. Some of you said, you know what? You should start doing that on a regular basis. You should start talking about these other games that either people forgot or never played and give them a chance to see what it looks like, And I said, you know what? You're right. I should do that. So from now on, every week, I'm going to try and give you a game that possibly you've never played or possibly you've forgotten. It's been a long time since you've played it. So let's start this off right. Let's talk about, and for those that know what I'm talking about, oh man, I love this game. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to start off with Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. Let's take a look at exactly the skills that come with this game.
You win!
Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, while serious, as you can see, also has some silliness to it as well. You have to understand that I feel as though this game flies under the radar due to the fact that for the time that it came out. Of course, it came out during the arcade era, but you have to also realize that it came out for the PS2, the 360, and I believe it's still for Xbox Live Arcade. So, yeah, but we haven't seen it since. And of course, it's up to fans if they demand, of course, like an HD remake or whatever. But I'm sure you can probably find it on PC these days. Maybe a ROM. You can probably find it and probably play on Fightcade or something. But this game deserves more credit than what it gets. And I feel as though it's one of those games that has aged very well as opposed to other games that we have seen in the past. But yet, for some reason, nobody talks about it. Pretty sad to see. Hopefully, Neo Geo Coliseum, or I should say Battle Coliseum, makes a comeback. Now, let's move on. I want to talk about an underwater horror game called Depth. Now, we talked about this before. This game, Depth, it's actually underwater horror, but now there's an update for the game. That's right. Now you have to deal with, check this out, dive-bombing sharks. That's right. So, that is the update for that game so far. Also, a fan makes playable NES games of horror movies that never got games. That's right. So, Freddy vs. Jason, yes, in a Donkey Kong type version. That's right. Also, The Lost Boys. There's a number of games that this guy has made that you can download as well if you're interested in these type of games, these type of horror games. Really interesting. I will put the link in the info bar where it actually shows the videos because he has his own YouTube channel where he shows exactly how it's made, how to play it, where you can be Freddy and go attack Jason or whatever. So, like I said, the videos are in the info bar for you, okay? Also, let's talk about Ad Infinitum, alright? Makes World War I more horrifying. This game is pretty much a World War I shooter, but it's about monsters more than it is about actual war. That's right. So, for those who are interested in that, link is in the info bar of that. Also, Resident Evil 7. We had talked about this because Resident Evil 7, we talked about this not too long ago about how, we should just wait and see where this is going to go with Resident Evil because everyone had their own impressions of the demo. Well, Capcom is saying that it won't, Resident Evil 7 won't be the ghost story the demo suggests. So, okay, we don't know what to expect now with Resident Evil. I mean, if it's not going to be the type of ghost story that we saw, because a lot of people said it's like Outlast or it reminds you of PT, what do we expect now? Granted, it's a demo, but if you're telling me this game now, and it's still going to be first person, but if you're telling me this game now, even though I said the last time, what did I say? I said, we'll have to wait, maybe they're going to go a different direction with it, this can't be the end of it, this can't be exactly what they're trying to do, and now we're finding out it won't be. Now you have to show us at least something. I mean, seriously. I mean, and Capcom has already said that, the reaction, the fans' reaction to this has been overwhelmingly. They're shocked that it's been this well. And a lot of people said, well, what did you expect? They wanted survival horror. I mean, that should have been the indicator. It goes to show you, if you're that shocked that your fans wanted survival horror in a Resident Evil game, you really weren't paying attention to fans for a number of years. You just weren't. So, there you go, Capcom. Let's move on. Let's talk about more horror games. Alright? And I wouldn't call it just horror, action horror. Still horror, though. Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. Now, this game, we talked about this before. I showed the trailer for this before. The same people, was the creator who did Castlevania, is behind this. And for those who have not seen this game yet, it is still looking amazing. It is getting great reviews. I can't wait for this game to come out. I was hoping that it would get a physical release for the PS3 or whatever. So far, what I've seen, it's not. However, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night will get a physical release for the Wii U. So if worst come to worst, I will be getting it for the Wii U. And apparently it's going to come with all this stuff as well. So apparently it's supposed to be DLC in the works or whatever. It's going to come with all this stuff in a complete package, physical copy. I will be getting that. There's no way in hell I'm going to miss this game. It looks amazing. The way I've seen, the way a lot of people have made videos who have played and been hands-on with the demo. This looks like something that this can hold me over for a while. Besides, y'all know how big of a big Castlevania fan I am. So, let's move on. Since we're on Nintendo, Devil's Third. Gotta talk about this for a minute. Nintendo, I don't know what you're thinking. Now look, I know a lot of people will say, well, Devil's Third was really bad. But this is the thing that we need to talk about today. Devil's Third, discontinuation of online service and price drop for software download. This game just came out not too long ago, right? Not even a year, and you're already discontinuing the service. Now, of course, the reviews for this game, of course, are very bad, but you can't always go by review scores. Gamers who have said themselves they don't like this game, okay, you don't like this game, but you've got to be kidding me that you're discontinuing the service this much. I guess if sales are low and no one's playing it and you see dead servers, you're going to get rid of them. But this game just came out for the PC in June, and you're already getting ready to discontinue all this stuff. Like, this is just, no. You have to, like I said, this game apparently did not have enough shelf life. There's a number of problems right here with the game, but to discontinue the service and then the price drop on top of it for, software download, man, this is not looking well for Devil's Third. But let's move on, shall we? And this is something that really pisses me off. It really does. because you could do something better with your money, gamers. And you know better than this, all right? For those who don't know, a Bernie Sanders Final Fantasy style RPG has been funded on Kickstarter. Really? Really? So you'll fund that, okay? You'll fund a Bernie Sanders RPG, FF style RPG, but all these other games that have had problems getting up and actually looking great, you didn't fund. Matter of fact, all the charities that have happened with games, you didn't fund. But you'll fund a Bernie Sanders Final Fantasy RPG. Priorities. Again, you've got to be kidding me. Let's move on. Unreal. One Piece. That's right. For those who don't know, One Piece Burning Blood wants fans to choose the next DLC characters. So pretty much they want you to choose who you're going to buy. That's pretty much how it goes. We're going to nickel and dime you, but we'd rather you have your way and choose what you want to be nickel and dimed on. That's what they're doing. Okay? So, yeah, One Piece. Also, in more news, a new Sonic game is coming in 2017. I don't think anyone's surprised. I mean, Sonic just had his anniversary. Happy birthday, Sonic. But he is coming out with a new game, and for what we're hearing, that now Sega is trying to make Sonic this entertainment icon. So now we're going to see Sonic everywhere. We're going to see more of Sonic cartoons. We may see a Sonic movie. We never know. But we're seeing a lot of stuff now with Sonic. Sega is really pushing Sonic to the forefront. I guess they really want people to, to get ready to buy this game. So we'll see what happens with Sonic. Hopefully, Sega can get the right developers and make, because not everything can be in-house. It can't. At this point, it can't be. But we saw what happened with Sonic Boom. Let's not even get started with that. Get the right people. That's what it is. Get the right people to make a Sonic game, and it will sell. Because fans are clamoring for Sonic, but it's got to be quality. That's simple. Okay? Let's move on. Speaking of quality, original Call of Duty developer tells Activision, and I quote, "Don't fuck up the remaster." Yeah. People are still having a problem with this remaster due to the fact that it's going to be tied to, the new game that nobody wants. So, like I said, they're holding this game hostage. But now Activision's been put on notice by the original developer. Don't mess this up. You mess this up, there's going to be some huge problems for Activision. It just is. Also, in more news, Tetris. That's right. The Tetris movie that's coming out will now become a trilogy. That's right. It's going to become a trilogy because apparently there's too much to fit into one movie. That's right. Too much to fit into one movie. It's Tetris. But okay, they're going to make this a trilogy now. Mind you, other movies that are going to have a trilogy that haven't even been out yet. All right? Assassin's Creed and, believe it or not, Splinter Cell. And for more news on that, Ubisoft confirms that Tom Hardy is still the lead in Splinter Cell. So he's going to be a younger version of Sam Fisher. That's right. That's what they're going to use, Tom Hardy. We'll see what's going to happen with that. We'll also see if he's going to stay on for the actual trilogy. We don't know what they're going to do just yet. But they say he's the lead. We don't know if he penned for a 3-movie deal. We know that he penned for 1 movie. We'll see what happens, okay? Also, I want to say this now because that's been the end of all the news. But I do have a question to ask some people because a gamer did contact me, I should say, not too long ago and asked if I knew anybody about this issue. And I've been looking around. I haven't seen anything. So I'm going to bring it to you, the community, all right, to try and help. He wants to know if there's anyone who specializes in making a PS3 controller for the disabled. That's what he wants to know. He wants to know where can he go to purchase one. So if anyone knows anybody who makes these type of specialized controllers for the disabled, by all means, please let me know. Okay? So that's the news I have for you today. I have to say that, this week hasn't been bad. It really hasn't. I mean, there's been some things here and there. There's been a little bit of drama. But overall, as you can see, we stuck with gaming news, and we didn't have to really deal with identity politics or, any type of bullshit. You know what I mean? We just stuck with, gaming, and then we ran with it. That's what it should be. This is a good week for gaming, as far as I'm concerned, because there's really not that much news unless something happens after, of course, I do a video. The video's done. But other than that, yeah. I mean, this is good news. Of course, you got a little bit of bad news, but overall, I mean, as you know, there's updates. There's things that still I feel as though Sony and Microsoft are just making the wrong decision here by trying to bring out new systems over and over. And of course, you should know this isn't about video games anymore. When they're making these systems, they want it to be a household entertainment system in general. So it's not just about your video games anymore. They want to make sure that you got your Blu-rays. They want to make sure that you got the right TV. They want to make sure they're trying to connect everything together. So when you actually look at a system and say, hey, I'm going to buy this video game system, in their projection, they want you to buy that new TV. They want you to buy all those extra add-on controllers. They want you to buy, you know what I mean, those Blu-rays. They want you, don't get me wrong, Blu-ray technology, it's there. It's there. You know what I mean? Sony did the right thing when they introduced it, all right? Because HD DVDs were not really doing much when Microsoft first introduced them. They weren't. So Sony did the right thing there. You know what I mean? It became a standard. Well, at least now it's a standard. But, of course, as it got bigger, they became cheaper. That's how it is. But still, at the end of the day, you have to understand that this is something, if you're going to get a 4K system and you don't have a 4K TV, you're going to be shelling a lot of money out for one. And by the time that you shell out, especially if you're deciding to get an Xbox Scorpio or whatever, you should know, because like I said, the Slim is coming out this year, and then the Scorpio comes out next year. By that next year, they're already going to be working on something else. So you're always going to be behind when it comes to this if they're going to do this almost annually. Just remember that, okay, people? It's almost, they're getting into the market almost how cell phones are and cameras are. Every 6 months, every year, maybe year and a half, something new comes out, the next big thing, and you have to have it. And then it goes on again, and again, and again, and again. That's how it is. By the time you buy one, it's already outdated. That's how they're using the technology now. And I put it like this. If they're going to do that, then you might as well just ditch the consoles and just buy a PC and just keep upgrading, because it's the same thing. That's what it is. You can't sit here and tell me it's not. So they're actually trying to turn console gamers into PC gamers. Not to mention, can you imagine all those people who bought the earlier iterations? It's just going to keep the cash flow going for GameStop and all, because you're going to trade them in. You're going to keep them? Are you going to keep all those systems? I mean, I've kept all my systems, but the way people trade in stuff nowadays, every 3 months they trade in their games or whatever. Could you imagine a new system come in and then GameStop says, hey, you know, if you bring in your system, we'll pay you X amount of dollars, and it could go towards the next system or whatever. They're just going to keep it moving over and over and over. The question is, will you fall for it? Anyways, I believe I'm done for today. And we'll see what comes up for the rest of the week. Until next week, until I do another video. Until then, I will talk to you then. Y'all be safe. I'm out.